Do you think one of the biggest advantages to aging is all the knowledge we gain along the way? Me too. What did you learn today? Share with me in my Facebook group with the same name as this podcast, Advantages to Aging. Now hit subscribe so you don't miss all the tips to come in future episodes.
March 20th is known as the International Day of Happiness, and so I want to dedicate this episode of Advantages to Aging to the advantages that we all gather from happiness. And happiness is not necessarily a feeling. Happiness is more a state of mind. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that you don't have to wait for something to happen or someone to do something for you to feel happiness. And happiness is a little different from gratitude, but gratitude certainly feeds happiness as well as optimism. So it's really about training your brain to find the positive. And there's a ton of science behind the power of positivity. But as we age, if we focus on all of the positive things, we're going to find we are happier in our life. We have fewer complaints and illnesses because we're focused on the positive. So let me give you an example of that. If you ever decided to go buy a car and you're thinking, maybe I'm going to focus on getting a Lexus because, not too many people in the neighborhood or even in the state drive Lexuses. And so you go to the Lexus dealership and you find this beautiful light blue Lexus, nice little hatch, the little SUV, just perfect for you. And suddenly it's as if everyone is now driving a light blue, small SUV Lexus. Like, how did that happen? Did they know that you were thinking about getting that car? No, it's because you suddenly have become focused on that color, that model, that make. And so the same thing goes with almost everything else in your life. So if you start focusing on all of the advantages as we get older, or, just in situations, looking for the positive, that's what we're going to end up with. And so as we're heading towards that International Day of Happiness, I'm going to recommend that you focus on what we call happy acts. So catch yourself or catch someone else doing something nice or something unexpected and mention it to them, or buy that person behind you a cup of coffee when you're out getting coffee, or just write a little handwritten note. I really appreciate you for, and be specific about what it is that you are appreciative of. And not only will you brighten somebody else's day, but you will find that you also have those moments where, even though things might not quite be going right, you're not reacting in the same negative way as you were before.
Debbi-Jo with Neora. You know what our brand partners love the most about their Neora business? They can do it from anywhere. Think about it. Haven't you always wanted to have your own schedule, be your own boss, maybe even have a global business and be able to run it from your favorite coffee shop or lounging by the pool or seaside, not having to go into the office? We make sure that all of our brand partners have all of the tools they need to run their business while fitting it into their busy lives. So if that's something that you've been curious about, what it might be like for you to be able to do life on your own terms, then I think we need to chat.
Another way to be able to really help focus on happiness is gratitude. And I encourage all of you, if you don't do it already, and if you're not a writer, don't worry, you can still do this. So either get a journal and just write at the end of every day 3 things that you're grateful for that happened that day. And if you're not a writer, as I said, either speak them out loud to yourself or tell one of your loved ones. So if you're in a family situation, I love to be able to share at the dinner table 3 things that happened during the day that were really positive and that I'm grateful for. And try not to use the same things day after day. So, like, you don't want to say, oh, I'm grateful for my family every single day. Great. I'm loving that you're grateful for your family, but find a specific thing. Like, I'm grateful for my son when he cleans up the kitchen, because he cleans up the kitchen, not when, because he cleans up the kitchen. I'm grateful that my daughter took out the trash and I didn't have to ask her. But what you want to make sure that you don't do is say, well, I'm grateful for my daughter taking out the trash, but she could have taken it out sooner. That negates it. Not only does it negate it, but it actually does more damage. So it's as if 10 times that negativity happened. So really be very conscious of it. And what it ends up doing is it helps you to focus on the positive throughout the entire day, because at the end of the day, you have to come up with 3 things that you're grateful for. Now, at first it might be a struggle because we're kind of wired to be negative, but there's a ton of positive psychology that is been studied, and it really helps to support this. And what I want to say is that the entire month of March really is the month of happiness, but March 20th is the International Day of Happiness, and Neora's founder and CEO, Jeff Olson, actually got a chance to speak on that very subject in front of the UN, as did Deborah Hayes, who is the co-CEO of Live Happy. If you don't know about Live Happy, that is an excellent place to find out more about happiness. Go to livehappy.org or mylivehappy.org, and you can find that. And there's a podcast called Live Happy. As you move forward and you start focusing on random acts of kindness or happiness, post on your social media and use hashtag happyacts. Because that way we can gather all of that information and really help to spread happiness throughout the world. And couldn't we all use it? So as you move forward, not just during the International Day of Happiness, but look for those areas, focus on those areas where you find happiness, where you find advantages. And so instead of saying, oh, well, I'm slowing down as I age, think of it as, oh my goodness, I get the opportunity to slow down and really experience all those wonderful things around me.
That wraps up another great episode. This is your host, Debbi-Jo, and I can't wait for you to use this information to your advantage. Do you think one of the biggest advantages to aging is all the knowledge we gain along the way? Me too. What did you learn today? Share with me in my Facebook group with the same name as this podcast, Advantages to Aging. Now hit subscribe so you don't miss all the tips to come in future episodes.